We play and call it work.
Hey everybody, Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, and welcome to the next episode of Your Lore Questions Answered, the show where I answer your questions about lore. Not because I'm some sort of expert, because I love lore, and so I will either know the answer to the question you ask, or more likely, research the answer to the question that you ask, and then answer it for you, saving you all that tedious time of reading books, which I love to do. So today's question comes from Pontus Barath. I hear a lot about Wraithbone, but how's it made? Where it come from? Well, Wraithbone, for those of you who don't know, who haven't heard a lot about Wraithbone, which might be the majority or the more common factor, is actually a construction material used by the Eldar, or the Eldari, depending on how you want to look at it. And it's really interesting, actually, because it's not a material that you mine and create. It is actually warp stuff made manifest in the material world. Just like a demon is really just energy, when you bring the demon over, if you've manifested enough psychic energy and you bring a demon over into the material realm, it becomes solid, which is why it can be destroyed by hitting it with weapons, shooting it with bullets, exploding it with missiles, whatever happens to be, and also can be destroyed by focusing psychic powers on it as well. And the reason this destroys it, not that it actually destroys it, is because it breaks that outer shell and scatters the warp energies, which then go back into the immaterium. Well, Wraithbone is a similar idea, except not so chaosy, that it's basically shaped by an Eldar's thoughts, concentrated on it. Now, a lot of Eldar are able to manipulate this quite naturally, especially those walking what's called the path of the artisan. They'll use it to create stuff. But if you really want to create the massive constructs, you need your bone singers, which are actually things that you can bring in the Eldar army, because we have all the different wraith constructs that you can use in the actual game itself. The bone singers are able to manipulate this and create entire superstructures, including ships, like void ships, entire ships, craft worlds that are able to go into space. And it's actually quite a powerful thing to do when you consider the fact that the skeleton of the ship is actually a physical manifestation of the warp, specifically Eldar's thoughts. Eldar are probably, I would argue, at least as a race, the most psychically powerful species out there, where you might get certain humans like the Emperor who are very, very powerful psychically. You are going to find that amongst the Eldar is just more common to have all this. So as a race, much more psychically powerful. And this is a good example of that. The fact that they can make things out of warp energy is quite spectacular. So there's a lot of properties of Wraithbone because of this. For one thing, it can project an energy shield that protects it from chaos, much like the Jeller field of an Imperial craft that's going through the warp. If you don't know this, when an Imperial craft goes into the warp, that would kill everybody on board, or at least expose them all to demons. So they project what's called a Jeller field, Gellar. This goes around the ship. It's a psychic field, a nullifying field of sorts that creates a bubble of reality that the ship stays inside of, and the demons are not able to get in usually. Like, they just bounce off of it, and so they're able to safely as you can, travel through the warp. Well, Wraithbone can do something similar. It can project shields, which is why we see a lot of the Eldar craft actually having shields to deflect incoming damage and everything else like that. So it doesn't just deflect the warp, it actually deflects damage from them as well. The other, probably most important function of Wraithbone is that it can, because it's made of the warp, which is where the souls of any psychic race really exist, that it can hold those souls. And since Slaanesh is so desirous of Eldar souls, if an Eldar dies, they would instantly have their soul consumed by Slaanesh, and that is just something they do not want, and I wonder why. It's because it's horrible, you just don't want it to happen to you. And so they've created these Wraithbone constructs in the whole, what's called the Infinity Circuit inside of these big ships that they can put the souls into, and the souls then go through it. They don't exist exactly the same with the same level of sentience as they were in life, but at least they get to go on and live a better afterlife than being inside of the belly of a chaos god. In fact, you see most Eldar will be wearing a spirit stone, and so when they die, their spirit goes in that stone, and they bring it to the Infinity Circuit, and then it puts it into that circuit as well. And that's it. That's really the gambit of what Wraithbone is, how it's made, and what it does in its functions. So that's today's question. Thank you so much for that question, Pontus. So if you have a question that you want to have answered in another video, make sure you leave it in the comment section below. You don't have to repeat comments that you put in previous ones. I'm copying and pasting them into one big database. But if you do see other comments that you really want answered, make sure you thumb them up, because if I see really popular ones, I'll make sure to focus on those first. And of course, as always, if you want to help support MiniWarGaming, then become a Vault member if you're not already. If you're already a Vault member, I've had Vault members actually ask us saying, I'm already a Vault member, how else can I support you? And it's like, well, that's actually pretty darn good. Just make sure you watch our videos, comment on our videos, share them. But just being a Vault member, like, you already are supporting us, so thank you so much for that. If you're not a Vault member, there you can get a free trial at the link below, miniwargaming.com/vault trial, and get access to thousands of videos, help support us in making more of these videos. So leave your comments below, the questions that you want to come up next. Become a Vault member if you're not already. Thank you if you are already, and I'll see you in the next video.